Good evening, madam. You are expected.
Do you know who I am?
Only that you're to be referred to as Mrs. White.
Yes, it says in the letter, but why?
Follow me. Mrs. White, this is our maid, Yvette. Yvette, this is Mrs. White. Seem to know each other.
Hello?
Hello. Good evening, must be mistaken. This is Miss Peacock, everyone. Yvette, will you see to it that dinner is ready before all the guests arrive? Quickly, please. Good evening, sir.
Is this the right address to Mr. Body?
Yes, you must be Mr. Green?
Yes.
Oh, sit! Whoa! No, not you, sir. This way, please.
Okay, looks like it.
This is Mr. Green.
What a God-forsaken place.
Professor Plum! And Miss Scarlet? Oh, I didn't realize you two were acquainted.
We weren't.
I see. This way, please. Sir. May I present Miss Scarlet and Professor Plum? Please, be seated. Now, you'll all have realized that none of you here are being addressed by your real names, and you're all being addressed by pseudonym.
I am sorry.
Get off! Oh, dinner. Please, everyone.
Idiot.
You'll find your names beside your places.
Is this place for you?
Oh, no, sir. I'm merely a humble butler.
And what do you do?
I buttle, sir.
And what does that mean?
The butler is the head of the dining room and the kitchen. I keep everything tidy.
Well, what's all this about, Butler? This dinner party?
Ours is not to reason why, ours is but to do or die.
Die?
Quoting, sir. Alfred Lord Tennyson?
I prefer Kipling myself. The female of the species is more deadly than the male. Do you like Kipling, Miss Scarlet?
Sure, I'll eat anything.
So, is this place for our host?
No, sir, it's for the second guest, Mr. Body.
I thought Mr. Body was our host. So who is our host, Mrs. Wadsworth?
I wonder while it's still hot.
Now, shouldn't we wait for our other guest?
I will keep something on for it.
Oh, what did you have in mind, dear? Well, someone's got to break the ice, and it might as well be me. I'm used to being the hostess. It's a part of my husband's work. So I'm perfectly prepared to start the ball rolling. And I know it can be difficult when a new group of friends are to get acquainted for the first time. I mean, I have absolutely no idea what we're doing here, what I'm doing here. But I'm determined to enjoy myself, and I'm very intrigued. And oh my, the soup is so delicious, isn't it?
No.
Oh. So, you say you were used to being a host as part of your husband's work? Yes, it's an integral part of your life when you're the wife of a... But wait, we're not supposed to say who we really are. Heavens to Betsy, I don't know why.
Don't you?
I know who you are.
Aren't you going to tell us? How do you know who I am?
I work in Washington too.
Are you a politician's wife?
I am.
Well, come on then, who's your husband?
What does your husband do?
Nothing.
Nothing?
He just, he lies out on his back all day.
Sounds like hard work to me.
I'm so sorry, I'm a little accident prone.
Watch it. This is one of my favorite recipes.
I know, madam.
Well, what do you do in Washington, D.C., Mr. Green? Oh, come on. Say something. How are we going to get acquainted if we don't say anything about ourselves?
Perhaps he doesn't want to be acquainted with you.
Oh, well, I don't know this for sure, but if it wasn't for me sitting here, we'd all be sitting in embarrassing silence.
Are you afraid of silences, Mrs. Peacock?
Well, yes. No. No. Why?
Well, it seems to me that you seem to suffer from something that we like to call pressure of speech.
We? Who's we? Are you a shrink?
I do know a little bit about psychological medicine, yes?
Are you a doctor?
I am, but I don't practice.
Practice makes perfect. I'd say most men need a little bit of practice. Wouldn't you, Mrs. Peacock? I don't know.
So what do you do, Professor?
I work for the UNO, the United Nations Organization.
Another politician, Jesus.
I work for a branch in the UNO, the WHO, the World Health Organization.
Well, what's your special area of concern?
Family planning. What do you do, Colonel? Are you a real Colonel?
I am, sir.
You're not going to mention the coincidence that you also live in Washington, D.C.?
How did you know that? Have we met before?
Well, I've certainly seen you before, although you may not have seen me.
So, Miss Scarlett, does this mean that you live in Washington too?
Sure do. Does anyone here not live in Washington, D.C.?
I don't.
Yeah, but you work for the UNO. That's a government job, and we all live in a government town. Does anyone here not make their living from the government in one way or another?
Wadsworth, where's our host and why have we been brought here?
Good evening, sir. You are eagerly awaited.
Lock me in. I'll take the key.
Over my dead body, sir. May I take your bag?
No. I'll leave it here. Until I need it.
What's in it? Evidence, I presume.
Surprises. That's what it contains, my friend. Surprises.
May I present Mr. Body?
What are all they doing here?
Eating dinner. Do sit down, sir.
Thanks. Now you can take that away, honey.
What? I demand to know what's going on here. Why have I been dragged to this awful place? Ugh.
I believe we all received a letter. Mine said it would be to your best advantage to be present on this date because a Mr. Body will bring to an end a certain long-standing, painful financial liability. And it's signed a friend.
I received a similar letter.
So did we, didn't we?
I also received the letter. So thanks, Yvette. I just ate.
Now, how did you know her name?
We know each other, don't we, dear?
Mr. Body, did your letter say the same thing?
No.
I see. Can I interest anyone in fruit or dessert?
No.
Then I suggest we all convene to the salon for coffee and brandy where I'm sure our host will make himself known.
Well, there's no one here.
Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, I am instructed to tell you what you all have in common with each other. Unless you care to do the honors, Mr. Body.
Why me? Do they know who I am?
I don't believe so. You've never introduced yourself to them.
It's a hoax! I suggest we all leave.
What? No! No. You cannot leave this house, sir!
No? Oh. It's an outrage. You know us, prisoner.
Yeah! Listen, everyone, go back to the salon. Everything will be explained. Go! You too, Mr. Body. Not that way! Ladies and gentlemen, each other. You were all being blackmailed. For a considerable time, you've been paying what you can afford, and in some cases, what you can't afford to someone who threatens to expose you. And none of you know who's blackmailing you, do you?
That's the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard. No one could blackmail me. My life is an open book, and I've done nothing wrong.
Huh. Anybody else wish to deny it?
Ugh.
Very well. Then I suppose there's no harm in my revealing a few details. Thank you, Yvette.
Don't you think you might spare us this humiliation?
I'm sorry. Oh, Professor Plum, you were once a great psychiatrist, specializing in treating homicidal lunatics with delusions of grandeur, correct?
Yes, but now I work for the United Nations.
So your work has not changed. But you don't practice medicine with the United Nations. In fact, your license to practice has been revoked.
Why? What did he do?
You know that thing that doctors aren't supposed to do with their lady patients?
Yeah.
He did.
Ew! How disgusting!
Are you making moral judgments, Miss Peacock? How then would you justify taking bribes in return for your husband's Senator Peacock's vote to certain lobbyists?
My husband is a paid consultant, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Not when publicly declared, perhaps, but when the payment is slipped in used greenbacks and plain envelopes and passed between the stalls in the men's restroom, how then would you describe that transaction?
I say it stinks. Why? When was the last time you were in the men's room?
So it's true.
No! No, it's a vicious lie.
I'm sure we're all glad to hear that. But you've been paying the blackmailer for over a year now to keep that story out of the papers.
Well, I'm willing to believe you. I too am being blackmailed for something I didn't do.
Me too.
And me.
Not me.
You're not being blackmailed.
I'm being blackmailed, all right, but I did what I'm being blackmailed for.
What did you do?
To be perfectly frank, I run a specialized hotel and telephone service which provide men with the company of a young lady for a short while.
Oh yeah? What's the phone number?
So, Miss Scarlett, does this mean that Colonel is one of your clients?
Absolutely not.
I was asking Miss Scarlett.
Then you tell him it's not true.
It's not true.
See?
Is that true?
No, it's not true.
Oh, double negative.
Double negative. You mean you have photographs?
That sounds like a confession to me. A double negative is like a proof positive. I'm afraid you gave yourself away.
Are you trying to make me look stupid in front of the other guests?
You don't need any of my help to do that, sir.
Well, I don't see what's so terrible about Colonel Mustard visiting a house of ill fame. Most soldiers do, don't they?
Oh, please.
Thank you.
But the colonel holds a very sensitive security post at the Pentagon, and he drives a very expensive car for someone who lives on a colonel's pay.
I don't. I came into money during the war when I lost my, mommy and daddy.
Uh-huh. Mrs. White, you've been paying our friend the blackmailer ever since your husband died under, shall we call it, mysterious circumstances?
Why is that funny?
I see. That's why he was lying on his back in his coffin. Oh.
I didn't kill him.
Okay.
You paid the blackmailer.
I don't want a scandal, do I? We had a very humiliating public confrontation. He was a deranged lunatic. He didn't actually seem to like me very much. He had threatened to kill me in public.
Why would he want to kill you in public?
I think she means he threatened in public to kill her.
And was that his final word on the matter?
Being killed is pretty final, wouldn't you say?
And yet he was the one who died, Mrs. White, not you.
What did he do for a living?
He was a scientist, nuclear physics.
What was he like?
Well, he was always rather stupidly optimistic man. I mean, I'm sure it came to a great shock to him when he died, but he was found dead at home. His head had been cut off along with his, you know. I had been out all evening at the movies.
Do you miss him?
It's a matter of life after death. Now that he's dead, I have a life.
But your first husband, he also disappeared.
That was his job. He was an illusionist.
He never reappeared.
He wasn't a very good illusionist.
I have something to say.
I'm not going for Wadsworth here to unmask me. I work for the State Department. I'm a homosexual.
Ew!
I feel no personal shame or guilt about this, but it must remain a secret for me to keep my job on security grounds. Thank you.
Well, that just leaves Mr. Body.
What's your little secret?
You hadn't guessed it. He is the one who's blackmailing you all.
You! First you dragged me to this god-awful place, and this god-awful people, this homosexual,
Mrs. White, was that necessary?
Then you depend on me! The police are coming!
Get up! Listen, now you know how he's been able to blackmail you. All you have to do is go to the police, he'll be convicted, and all your troubles will be over.
Not so easy. You never tell police.
Then I will. I have all of the evidence, and I've been recording this conversation the entire time.
Point of order, tape recordings are not admissible evidence.
Shut up.
Where are you going now?
Help them make up their minds. Can I just grab them back from the hall? We can guess what's in here, huh?
The evidence against us, no doubt.
We didn't know that we were meeting you tonight. Did you know that you were meeting us?
Oh, yes.
What were you told precisely?
Merely, we're here to discuss a little financial arrangements. And not here. Wadsworth, tell me over the police. Naturally, you could hardly resist making an appearance. Unwrap them.
Sure, why not? I enjoy opening presents for strange men. Well, we know. A candlestick? What's this for?
In each of your hands, you have a lethal weapon. If announcement to the police, you'll be exposed and humiliated. I'll see to that in court. But, one of you kill Wadsworth now, only the settlements will ever know. She has the key to the front door, which she said would only open with her dead body. I suggest we take her up on an offer. If you want to avoid seeing yourselves on the front pages, kill Wadsworth. Now.
It's not Wadsworth.
Stand back, you're mayor. Let me see. He's dead.
Who had the gun?
I did.
Then you shot him.
I didn't.
Well, if you had the gun and didn't shoot him, who did?
Nobody. Look, there's no gunshot wound. Somebody tried to grab the gun from in the dark and it went off. Look, the bullet went through the base of the mantle over there.
He's absolutely right. Look, there's a hole in the wall right here. See that?
How did he die?
I don't know, I'm not a forensics expert.
Well, one of us must have killed him.
Why didn't do it?
I need a drink. Move!
Okay, Your Majesty. Maybe he was poisoned. Well, was it poison?
I don't know.
Looks like we'll never know.
Unless she dies too. Why would murder scream?
Maybe he had a victim in there and forgot to vent. You're lying. No sense to you. What do you mean? You locked me on the matter, you idiots.
So the murderer's in this room?
No, we.
Where?
Where? Here, we are looking at it. It is what Miss White sends us to. What is yours to kill us?
How do you know you said that?
I was listening. And why were you screaming now by yourself? Because it frightened me too. I also drank some cognac. Oh, Mando, I can't stay here by myself. Come back to the salon with us. Was there murder?
There's a safety in numbers. My dear.